Hillary Clinton's induction as Chancellor of Queen's University Belfast, an appointment that brought an air of distinction to the institution when she assumed the role in 2021, was met with a turbulent backdrop during her visit to the Global Innovations Summit today. And that summit itself aimed to spotlight economic inclusion and sustainability, drawing an international array of political and academic dignitaries from the Northern Ireland Secretary Hilary Benn to the US Special Envoy Joe Kennedy. But what dominates the news is the protest and the disruption. And as Clinton extolled the progress Belfast had made since the Good Friday Agreement, echoes of unrest outside the university gates disrupted the otherwise ceremonious occasion, and pro-Palestinian protests erupted, spearheaded by the QUB Palestine Assembly, and demonstrators chanted and brandished placards, some depicting Clinton with accusations of war crimes herself, and spurred on by her known stance against an Israeli ceasefire in the aftermath of the 2023 Israel-Hamas conflict. Well, a ceasefire was never going to be a solution, as something that I kept pointing out, but that wasn't popular because people seemed to think a ceasefire was the right way forward. It isn't, it wasn't. In the same way as I'm not convinced that a ceasefire in Ukraine is the way forward. It may be inevitable, but a ceasefire is simply a period where one side or the other can rearm. That isn't peace. That is a pause followed by further unrest. That isn't a way forward. It's a way to grab headlines and to be smug about what you think you've achieved. But smug is not what international politics should be about. International politics should be about ensuring peace, and a lasting peace. And it's certainly possible in both Ukraine and Palestine and Israel, but it's not going to be possible with people thinking of these simplistic solutions, waving placards and stuff. There's a difference, isn't there, really, between the placard waving calls for a ceasefire in Palestine and tractors on the beach in Llandudno. The latter have real investment in the issue. The former, I'm afraid, it attracts all the professional protesters, and it degenerates into chaos. There isn't a report of farmers being arrested. There's simply a report of Keir Starmer fleeing. In contrast, you've got reports here in Belfast of protesters being arrested and the whole thing dissolving into violence. The protest escalated into clashes with the police service of Northern Ireland, and 4 arrests were made on public order offences, charges including resisting arrest and in some instances obstructing or assaulting police. The demonstration turned violent enough to injure several officers and staff members from Queen's University. Additionally, a senior staff member received a viable threat to their life, underscoring the tension that Clinton's presence had brought. QUB responded with a carefully balanced statement affirming the institution's commitment to freedom of expression and peaceful protest, but condemning the actions of the disruptive minority. The university called for a de-escalation, emphasising that protests should not jeopardise the safety or the future of its students. And Clinton, maintaining a poised composure in the middle of all this upheaval, addressed attendees, drawing parallels between Belfast's resilience and that of cities like Pittsburgh, emphasising the importance of education as a public good that is the foundation of innovation. But outside, the discord reflected a growing student-led call for solidarity with Palestinian rights, extending beyond Clinton's immediate visit to wider demands for the university to sever affiliations with Israeli groups and intensify support for Palestinian academic and humanitarian initiatives. The backdrop to these protests punctuated Clinton's remarks and contrasted her vision of Belfast's transformation with the stark realities of the present-day global tensions, making her visit a stark reminder of the contested space of universities that they inhabit in global political dialogues. And of course, by the way, the immediate student demands for universities to sever or to pause their affiliation with Israeli companies and academic organizations, I think, is a reasonable request. That is achievable. And I think protests should look for what is achievable and what can be actioned. That is something that can be done and probably should be done. Israel should recognize that the actions of Netanyahu go beyond what is civilized, and civilization should not condone that.